and
Okay.
then I'll lead you lead to coach.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna let the attendees in.
Alright.
Go, Doc.
Hashtag Bangon Pilipinas. Blackwater would like to support our heroes of the front line who are risking their health and well-being to attend to COVID-19 patients. We aim to provide the frontliners of Pasig City General Hospital hygiene kits which they can use daily. Blackwater, smell good, feel good. This webinar series is brought to you by Group Coaches International in cooperation with Blackwater. Smell good, feel good. This coaching webinar series would like to give special thanks to the following. Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas Coaches Commission Head, Coach Jong Yochiko. Basketball Coaches of the Philippines President, Coach Louis Gonzalez. God's Kids Head, Coach Alan Ricardo. And frontliner Christopher Top Juliano.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening to our attendees. And again, we have on our day 12, if I'm not mistaken, of this webinar series. Again, we're so excited to have our very special guest for tonight. But of course, joining us is our resident sports psychologist, Teddy Villasor. Teddy, good evening.
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, Coach Yang.
And
Teddy, good evening.
And of course, broadcaster Rick Olivares, who will have the honor of introducing our very special guests. Rick, good evening.
Magandang gabi sa lahat ng participants, sa ating mga panelists. This man who is our guest tonight, I first covered him when I was in third year college. He was coaching Swift in the PABL. It just so happened
Lumabas ang edad.
just so happened then that his trainer, Chris Monfort, was my coach on the Ateneo football team. That's why I gravitated towards Coach Yang. They won the PABL Invitational Tournament that included 3 or 4 foreign teams. And he had a stacked and loaded team, but that's not because why they won. They won because of this man's brilliance. I got to work with him later on sa SBP when he was coach of Gilas. And I enjoyed working with him because this man will always make time to talk to media, to provide whatever answers they may be. Now, this man is a 7-time PBA champion. He is also a 2-time Coach of the Year. This man is one of the toughest guys you will ever see on the basketball court. The no BS coach, the no nonsense coach, but the brilliant Yeng Guiao. Good evening, Coach.
Good evening to everyone. Salamat, Rick, for the kind introduction.
So, Coach, kamustahan muna? So, how have you been? And I'm very thankful that you can join us. Of course, you're our former president with the Basketball Coaches Association. So, this is a continuous education for our coaches. And what have you been doing of course, in this ECQ?
Well, basically, just staying safe, at home. Watching YouTube, watching Netflix, reading up, and doing the vacuuming at home, and playing with the dogs, and a lot of things actually. I've learned a lot of things reading and watching YouTube also. Again, a lot of basketball. I've been watching a lot of the EuroLeague games, and it's really enriching. Not just watching those games, how the games being played in Europe. I've actually watched them the last few years as much as I watch the NBA. Actually, sometimes even more. Especially when I coached Gilas in the World Cup, I knew it was going to be more of the European style that was going to be used, in that World Cup. So try to familiarize myself, and I kind of fell in love with the way they played, the concepts. So yun, basically just maybe once a week we go to the groceries and do some uh, uh, work here, no, at home. Also been calling up some friends, relatives, just keeping updated with what's happening.
Ayun ko, sa common question ng mga coaches natin, dahil nga curious sila sa yung ginagawa nyo sa NLEX, so what have you been doing during this ECQ na pwede nilang i-apply sa mga teams nila?
Well, our trainers have been putting together some fitness programs, no, for our players who are at home, no, some things they can do during their free time, and there's a lot of free time actually. If you remember, before the lockdown, we were supposed to play on that Wednesday, the Wednesday evening. The lockdown was Wednesday morning, no? So we were in tip-top shape. We were excited to play, but things happened, and sayang, no? It's really just too bad that I felt we were in good shape. I felt that we were almost 100% ready, but again, it's almost like back to zero. But the players have been trying hard. No? We've been reminding them not to eat too much, not to be complacent with their physical state. Ask them to do as much as they can, even while they're at home, or maybe they can go out and run around their villages or subdivisions if they live in subdivisions. But if not, they live in condominiums. Maybe they can run up and down the stairs, just so we can maintain some sort of physical conditioning. But it's really difficult, especially the gyms are closed, and they have to make use of whatever equipment is available. And our trainers have been just doing their best, so body weight training, just making use of household equipment or materials, just staying active. I think that's just the important thing there, and watching their diet. Importante, huwag sila mag-overeat masyado.
Doc, there's some questions from our attendees.
Yes, Coach. Coach, we have a question from Ian. Ian's asking, would you be open to coaching Gilas Pilipinas again? Thank you.
I've had my opportunity, 2009 and then 2019, this last year. Of course, it's been the greatest experience. It's kind of disappointing that we lost our games in the World Cup, but that's the World Cup. I'll do that over and over again, even knowing the consequences. So it's been a privilege for me. So again, hindi ko masabi na ayoko na But I've had my feel, I've had my experience. I know how it feels to be there. I know the pressures. I know how difficult it is. How difficult it is, especially for me. I did not do it full time with the national team because I still had my obligations with my professional team. And the demands are really great. If you're playing in the World Cup, I guess the lesson you have to learn is, one is you have to train early. Number two is months before the tournament, you have to practice or play teams at the level of the teams that you're going to play in the tournament. So that's time consuming, and it takes a lot of expense and commitment. And number three is you have to have the best players available. We've had some problems with injuries and also scheduling. Yun ang pinakamahirap. because even as we play in the World Cup, there's really just maybe 2 weeks, no, of training that you can have with the team together. No? The rest of the time, you're practicing with 7, 8, 9 players because other players are playing in the pro leagues. So that's really been the most difficult problem, no, of coaching the national team, is bringing that team together with the whole team healthy and available, and then bringing them together for a longer period of time. So that's been the problem of most coaches, or all coaches who coach the national team.
Coach Yang, when we had Coach Chot Reyes a few days ago, he was suggesting that maybe the national team is better off with a homegrown local coach as opposed to getting a foreign or European coach, you know, as we're hearing from other quarters today. What is your opinion about that?
I think, to me, that's really viable. No? I think we can stand up with the best coaches in the world. But of course, we still need to upgrade, no, our skills. We still need to immerse ourselves. No, as I said, if we're playing the best European teams, actually the best basketball now, I think, in the world level is in Europe. If you watch the EuroLeague, it's basically FIBA basketball. The rules are FIBA basketball, even the layout of the court, even the layout of the benches. Yung mga benches nila, makikita mo, ganun din yung layout ng benches sa World Cup. No? It's a 40-minute game. The rules apply. The timeouts are the FIBA rules. No? It's not like in the PBA or in the NBA. You can call timeouts on dead balls. 6 fouls. Even the pacing of the players, you pace them for 40 minutes. You don't pace them for 48 minutes, which you do in the PBA. No? Even the concepts, no, the styles. Euro basketball is FIBA basketball, and they've designed it that way. That's why the most successful teams in FIBA are the European teams. Parang inano na nila, no? Minonopolize na nila. Even the Americans are having a hard time. Nonetheless, of course, you put in the best American talents. No, talagang talent na yon, tsaka athleticism na yon. Then that's really the best antidote, no, that the US can put together the most talented players, most talented coaches, and bring them there. And even then, no, those European teams, they're going to give them a run for their money, just because the FIBA has designed world basketball to be Euro equals FIBA basketball. So it's not NBA basketball. So everybody's making the adjustment. If you come from professional leagues, not attuned to the FIBA game, just like the PBA, just like some other leagues, just like the NBA, and you go to a FIBA game, you are adjusting. But the European teams are not adjusting. It's just playing their natural games.
Coach, earlier you were saying that you were not able to devote full time to the national team given your duties and obligations to the professional club. In your opinion, dapat bang full time talaga yung head coach ng national team?
Hindi. I think it can be done. Kaya lang, I think the PBA will have to make that sacrifice. Kasi kahit na full time yung coach, even if the coach is coaching full time, and the players are not full-time, it's the same thing.
Wala rin. No?
It's the same thing, actually. So, if you can have full-time coaches and full-time players, then that would be the best arrangement. But remember, you cannot get the best players that way, because the best players are still going to be playing in the PBA, in our professional league. And that goes for any league or any national team anywhere in the world. No? Their best players are playing in their professional leagues. And you just have to, I know for the PBA, make arrangements. Siguro itong nangyari ngayon, what happened now with this quarantine and lockdown is, if you can play just one conference, then make do with one conference during a World Cup year, or during an Olympic year if you qualify for the Olympics, or during an Asian Games year. Maybe during the Asian Games you just play 2 conferences just to give the national team a few more weeks or a few more months to stay together. So you cannot really go full-time with a full-time coach, not unless you have full-time players also. So it's really it's really, to me, even if you have a full-time coach but the players are not full-time, you cannot take advantage of being together, because the teams, I mean the professional teams, are still going to be holding on to their players because they also have their own objectives and goals within those teams.
Coach, before I revert to Doc Teddy for the other questions, no, susundutan ko lang yung national thing. As you know, several months ago, there was talk by SBP forming a younger team, mga collegiate players, keeping them together, very much like Gilas 1 under Raiko Toroman. Pero I was with Gilas from the beginning and I noticed, pumapalag yung team na yon. Pero pagdating ng dikdikan, dahil mga bata sila, mama yung kalaban nila, natatalo tayo. So, feeling ko, baka kung ganun din yung route ngayon, ganun din mangyari. Tama yung sabi nyo, lahat ng best players natin nasa PBA. So, hindi ko lang, what's your opinion about having a younger team, Coach?
Sa akin kasi, if you're sending a team to just the windows, yung mga windows lang natin, no, just to qualify or maybe to the Southeast Asian Games, not even sa Asian Games, certain level, maybe you can use the younger players. But if you're really serious about winning and the level of play is really at least Asian level, I think you should send your best teams and not just the younger teams, no, or the younger players. Example, no, let's say 2023 World Cup.
Yes.
That's going to be played in the Philippines. That 2023 team, most of them are already playing in the PBA right now. No? So that team is going to be composed of the players who are playing already in the PBA right now. The rookies that we have today, let's say those just coming off the draft, and even the draft this year, aside from the draft, supposedly yung last year's draftees natin, they were supposed to be the rookies now, but we're not playing yet. Maybe they'll be lucky if one or two of them make that 2023 national team. Ilagay na natin yung isang slot dyan kay Kai Soto, maybe yung isa dyan kay AJ Edu. So, you have those two guys we consider young, but the rest of the 9 or 10 members of that team are now already in the PBA. I don't think these are the rookies that we drafted or the rookies that we will draft this year. So they'll be just too young and too raw to be playing in the 2023 World Cup. So long term yon, and at the same time, ang dami mo pang dadaanan, no, before you can say that these players are going to be capable of playing at the world level or maybe even at the Asian level. So, yun din, medyo rin ako na may mga dinraft tayo for the Gilas team, but as good as they are, I don't think they'll be ready for the 2023 World Cup. Maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Thank you, Coach.
There's some questions from our YouTube watchers. If you're the commissioner of the PBA, what adjustments are you going to make to fix the problem of scheduling with the national team? From
May
Dale
bias kasi ako no?
Okay, just for the sake of ano lang.
For the sake of kwentuhan lang.
Sige lang.
To me, the best the best solution there is, if we're really preparing for an Asian Games or a World Cup, an important tournament, instead of having 3 conferences that year, maybe we can have just only 2. It's that simple. No? So even the coach, hindi siya kailangan full-time. Kasi kahit mag full-time yung coach, kung yung mga players hindi mo naman makuha sa mga teams nila, you cannot pull them out of their teams. What's the use of a full-time coach? No? So if you cannot practice together, no? So it's really cooperation. Everybody just really needs to commit to the objectives of the national team. And this has been the perennial problem. We have always been ill-prepared or just did not have the luxury of time together. If you see the Argentinian team, yung nanalo ng World Cup, meron pa silang eskola dun eh, no? It's a combination of young and veterans, no? If 2 or 3 veterans graduate, there are 2 or 3 young good guys who come in. So it's really some sort of a revolving door, but they stay together for a long time. They stay together for a long time using a system, no, that they've developed just because of the length of time that they've been together. No? So if we're able to choose a coach, let's commit to that coach for not just 1 year. Let's commit to the coach for 2 or 3 years at least.
Yes.
Ito si Popovich eh, pumalpak siya sa World Cup eh. No? He had the NBA players there. Of course, they're not the top-notch NBA players. No? Did not even win a medal, but they're committed to him because that's the way basketball is. Ganun talaga yung basketball eh. No? No matter how good Popovich is, if you're given 6 months, if you're given 7 months to put together, and then you're going to play the best in the world who've already played years together, who've already played under FIBA rules. Ito pa yung isang problema ng mga NBA, even the coaches and players, is kahit ano sabihin mo, you have to make the adjustment. Of course, their advantage is their athleticism and their incredible talent. But a lot of players in Europe and coaches in Europe are so smart. They can find ways to create that even playing field.
Coach, follow up to that. Do you think the current Gilas lineup, the one that Coach Dickel coach, is the future of Philippine basketball from Kobe Balderas?
Palagay ko hindi pa. That's not yet the full potential. As I said, we have to reserve slots for Kai. We have to reserve slots for AJ Edu. And then of course, alam natin mga bata nandyan, yung mga sina 30, no? Diyan marami pa mga bata na ano, but again, maturity is going to come into question, no? Can they mature in 1 or 2 years? No? So the future is bright actually, but again, you still have to develop a good program, put together a good culture, and keep that team together with everybody cooperating. And ito pa, swertihan. Sana kung lahat healthy parate. No? Sometimes, again, that's a problem even with us, with our national team. 1 week before, you get injuries. 2 weeks before, some players cannot practice with you. Yun eh. That's just luck. No, sometimes luck does not go your way. You get injuries no matter how long you prepared. But again, you just have to live with that. Kasama yun talaga sa basketball.
Right, Doc, there's some more questions about, let's choose muna since we're in the national team topic.
Coach Yang, this is a question from Raul. Raul's asking the offense and defense system that you used in the World Cup, is it the same as the one that you're currently using in NLEX?
Basically, yes. No, but the problem, as I said kanina, we like to run basically a motion ball screen offense. Pick and rolls, variations of the pick and rolls, spacing the floor, moving the ball. But the problem with the national team, you have to just keep it very simple for them, because at the same time you're practicing with the national team, they have ingrained within them another system that they play with their mother teams. So iba yung sistema sa national team sa akin under my style or my coaching, doon sa style na nila doon sa kanilang mother teams. And you have to consider that, because every day in the morning they play and practice with their mother teams. In the evening at 6 o'clock they come to our practice and they run a different system. So if you complicate the system, you just have to be able to keep it simple. Then it becomes harder for them because they are going back to their habits. Kung ano yung pinapractice nila ng ilang taon dun sa Blackwater or dun sa Ginebra or dun sa... Tapos magpa-practice kayo ng 3 linggo, 4 na linggo, 2 linggo dito sa national team. Pagka na-complicate yung sistema, then there's just confusion. Sometimes it looks like you're disorganized. And the problem there is the more you feel the pressure, pagka na-feel mo na yung pressure of the defense, and grabe dumipensa yung mga magagaling internationally, the more you get out of that because you're not really used to it. So again, that's why I keep saying, patatagan ng loob yan ng patagalan. Kailangan alam nila yung sistema at matagal nilang alam yan. So even if they're under pressure, they don't panic or they're not confused or they don't buckle under pressure. So those are the things that also need to be considered. So it's the same system that we run, but I just made it a little bit more simplified, uncomplicated. Kasi ang daming options pwede mo i-run. So pagdating doon sa national team, basic na lang yan. Total matalino kayo at magaling kayo. So palabasin nyo na lang dyan yung natural talent nyo rin. No? So, but still, when they're under pressure, okay, they'll go back to their old habits, they'll go back to their old system, and that old system is not our system in the national team. So meron pa rin nangyayaring ganon. So I guess the best option really is to just keep things simple and try to take advantage of the players' natural IQs. They still work under a structure, they still work under a system. Pero hindi na ito yung hindi na ito yung kamukha ngayon ginagawa ko sa NLEX. Ang dami naming options, mas marami kaming time mag-practice, mas marami kaming time together, no? Plus they don't need to go back to another system the next day. But with the national team, that's not the way. So kailangan mo rin ayusin yung program mo to fit that condition, no, that there is in the national team.
Coach, Andre Blatch is our naturalized player. How big a factor is he for the national team?
When we play in the world level, si Andre is our biggest guy there. No? Of course, yan naman sila Junmar, nagamit din natin sila Greg Slaughter, sila Japet. But admittedly, he is our anchor, no, in the frontline position. So he needs to be in the best shape. He needs to be playing his best game, because the problem is yung big man ng other side is probably as good as he is, if not better. Although sometimes talaga ganda na nilalaro ni Andre. And what happens is, since they know he's our main man, he's going to get double teamed. He's going to get a lot of bumps and pushes and hard fouls. So he has to take a lot of that abuse, no, from the other team, because they know we rely a lot on him. And I guess that's it's a given that if Andre Blatch is in the best shape or in a really good shape, the national team plays a lot better. No, but in the World Cup, it could have been better. No, but I don't take anything away from Andre. He gave it his all at that point. He tried to carry us on his shoulders. But those teams are just really just too good for us.
Coach, we have a question from Ian. Ian asks, I've read from some reliable sports articles that Justin Brownlee, Angelo Kwame, and Chris McCullough are top candidates for naturalization. Being a government official as well, who would you recommend to Congress and Senate for naturalization? Thank you.
Gandang tanong yan.
Of course, wala ako sa politics ngayon, ano? Pero maybe I can still make some recommendations, no? But you know, you don't need to naturalize just one. Under the law, we can naturalize several, no? Because let's say you can naturalize 3 players, 4 players, maybe 5 players. You can naturalize sila Kwame because ano naman yan, bata pa naman yan, no? He's young, and maybe you can use him in the Southeast Asian Games. Maybe you can use him for some windows, no? The windows where we just play Asian teams and give him experience, no? So and then you can naturalize some other players, maybe some ex-NBA players or some players who we feel can help us in the short term. Hindi kailangan isa kasi nangyari ngayon, parang isa lang parati yung choice natin eh. Pag wala si Andre Blatch, wala na tayo, no? Hindi na tayo makabalik kay Douthit, no? Hindi na tayo makabalik do sa mga iba nating ano. So I guess it's also parang ano natin, no? Parang just giving ourselves more options, and at the same time having control, no, of our naturalized player situation. Kumuha tayo ng marami. Mag-naturalize tayo ng 3 or 4 para kung yung isa medyo may problema, o kaya playing hard to get, o kaya may mga kung ano-anong dahilan, o kaya na-injure, meron tayong ibang pagpipilian. So hindi naman kailangan isa lang. We can naturalize 3 or 4. And when we say not 3 or 4, sama na natin si Justin Brownlee, sama na natin si Ange Kwame, sama na natin si Makolo, sama na natin si sino pa diyan kung sinong kailangan natin, no? So let's not put all our eggs in one basket na isang player lang na naturalize natin. Kasi sa Congress naman pwede naman nilang gawin yun eh, no? And some other countries are doing that. Hindi a lot of other countries are doing that. They have 2, 3, 4 players they naturalize so that kasi kung minsan isang player, let's say Jordan Clarkson, no? Although si Jordan Clarkson ano naman yan, no? Pilipino naman talaga yan. But let's say for one reason or another he wants to play but his mother team does not let him play, we can have somebody taking his place, no? Kung siya yung naturalized player natin. So let's give ourselves elbow room by naturalizing 3, 4, 5 players at magbahala na yung coach kung sino gusto niyang dalhin for a certain tournament.
Coach, susulat ko lang yung sa national team, no? Coaching the closed door match, how surrealistic, how weird was that for you?
Really weird. It's so silent, no? When you talk to your players pagka timeout, dati hindi kayo magkarinigan, pero ito pati yung sinasabi ng kabilang coach doon sa kabilang court halos naririnig mo rin, no? So that's really weird, but I guess now, no, with this lockdown or with this quarantine, we have to play with some limitations. Okay lang sa akin maglaro to empty stadium. Okay lang. Total, ang audience naman natin nasa TV, nasa live stream, and people are just excited and they're aching to watch games, no, of the PBA. So hindi naman permanente yun. No? After a month or so, baka pwede tayong maglagay ng 3 seats away. After that, maglagay tayo ng 2 seats away hanggang mapuno natin yung stadium.
Salamat, Coach.
Coach, na-mention mo na rin yan. What's the latest on, maraming curious, what's the latest on the situation with the PBA? I know August maglalabas, pero any inside on the plans? Baka meron kang...
Wala eh. Actually, nakakaalam dyan yung mga team owners natin tsaka yung board of governors, no? Because they're the ones meeting. Yes, they're talking to commissioner also. No? Ako, ang gusto ko sana slowly nga magkaroon na ng gradual opening. Yung NBA, as I said earlier, the NBA, they're opening up their facilities already so that the players can practice and get back in shape. Narinig ko kanina sa Germany, yung Bundesliga mag-uumpisa na rin, no? And Bundesliga is football, so nagbabanggaan yung mga players doon. Yung baseball sa Korea, balik na rin, no? Yung Major League Baseball sa States, I guess they're also planning to start again. So ito, start na to, hindi lang practice. Ito yung mag-uumpisa na sila. But of course, iba yung baseball sa basketball. Although sa baseball, nagbabanggaan pa rin yan, no? Meron pa rin close contact dyan. Kaya lang sa basketball, talagang may close contact. But football in Germany, they're already starting it, no? Or they'll start in a few days. So maybe we can pick up from that just to have a semblance of normalization, not only for the PBA but also for the country, na maramdaman naman ng bansa na umu-okay na rin tayo at sumunod tayo doon sa mga protocols at doon sa mga rules natin, no, with regards to the ECQ. Kung gusto nating manood, wag muna tayo doon sa sa venue. TV tayo, live stream tayo, kung wala sa radyo tayo. No? I guess we can still all enjoy it that way. Mas mabuti 'yon kaysa sa wala.
Agree kami dyan. And our team owner, Boss Giseldo C, who's watching on YouTube, agrees to that.
Andiyan pala si
Mr. Basketball.
Boss.
Mr. Basketball ni Boss. Kaya sana
Ay, si
lahat.
Boss Giseldo, kapitbahay ko yan, nandito lang yan sa kabila.
Okay, there's more questions on the Q&A, Doc Teddy.
Coach, John's asking about your motivational style. How do you keep your players playing their best?
To me, there's maybe just 2 or 3 things basically, no, in terms of motivation. Unang-una, when you get to the level of the professional league, sa level na yon, I don't know if the coach has still that big burden of trying to motivate you. Ang importante lang dito, buhay ng pamilya mo to, no? You're really playing for your family. It's your livelihood. This is your profession. What other motivation do you need to have, no? Other than playing for the future of your family or for the security of your family, no? So, if you have motivation problems at this level, you have a big problem, no? Pagka ganito. Number 2, the way I add to it, the way I complement that motivation that they already have coming in is mga players ko, they know that once they play for me, they'll get their chance to show what they have. Almost every game, I play 12, sometimes 13, sometimes 14 players. And I don't play them for 1 or 2 minutes. Because to me, when I play you for 1 or 2 minutes, that's an insult. Insulto lang yan doon sa kakayanan nung player na yun. Nobody can do anything in 1 or 2 minutes. I'll give you 6 or 7 minutes if you're playing well. I'll give you 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And then if you're still playing well, you get a break and then you play again. No? And if they know that, they'll practice hard. Kasi ang hirap mag-practice it's really difficult, no, to push yourself in practice. And when game day comes, you're sitting at the end of the bench and you have no chance to play. Or even if you play, you have to be leading by 30 points and then you play for 2 minutes. So when you come to practice the next day, or when you come to practice, no matter how hard you work, you're still going to be playing your 2 minutes. So in practice, you better bust your ass, no? And try to impress your coach. Oh, I can give this guy 6 minutes the way he's practicing. And it's a signal to the other players that this guy's busting his ass. So I better bust my ass too, because this guy's going to take my place. No? And he's going to be given a chance. So it's a friendly rivalry. No? It's a friendly rivalry, and it brings out the best among all your 12, 13, 14, 15 players. But if they already know coming into the game that there's only just going to be 7 or 8 players playing, and they're just going to be there, they're just going to clap for their teammates, they're going to tap their asses, and then they're going to tap their shoulders. That's not motivation, no, for players to work hard in practice. So ever since, no, the first day I coached in the PBA, I've already had that mentality. No? So another thing is, they know I treat my players equally, fairly. No, if you're getting your 25 minutes, that's because you deserve your 25 minutes. If you're playing your 30 minutes, that's because you deserve your 30 minutes, not because you have a big salary, then that automatically makes you have to play 35 minutes. Or if you have a lot of fans, that automatically gets you the right to play 30 minutes. Hindi ganon eh, no? So meritocracy to, no? Meritocracy, no? And when they come into the team on day 1, they already know that. So, alam na nila yon on day 1. Alam na nila day 1, masisigawan sila, mamumura sila. So if they can take that, we'll have a really good relationship. If they cannot take that, we can look for a trade. That's my rule. No? And I want everybody in my team to be happy. If you're not happy for one day in my team, we have to talk about it. Because if you're not happy every day going to practice, you have a problem. So, kailangan mag-usap na tayo agad na, Coach, I'm not happy with my situation in the team, and there's another team interested. There's a guy there you might be interested in. Can we look for a trade? I don't take that against anybody. No, I don't take that against anybody, because that's for the good of everyone.
Coach, since we're in the topic, I have a question that I usually ask all the coaches who come in. And a lot of our participants are coaches. And I'd just like to know, with your many years in the PBA, could you kindly give 5 qualities that a coach should possess in order to be successful? Thank you.
5, ang dami na. Siguro I'll give a few. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, Coach.
If I can.
May tawad. Si Dr. Eddie, lima lagi eh.
Well, number 1 is not in the order of their importance. No?
Of course.
Number 1 is you have to know the game technically. You have to know your X and O's. And the X and O's, to me, that's the easiest thing, because mag-YouTube ka lang dyan, manood ka lang ng manood, mag-breakdown ka ng plays, kausapin mo mga ibang coaches, exactly what SBP under Coach Jong Chico is doing. No? This is the part where you enrich yourself and educate yourself technically with the game. And also si Coach Louie Gonzalez ng BCAP, no? Nag-umpisa tayo dyan nila Coach Ariel. No? This is exactly the reason we're here, is we're trying to give other coaches or interested parties, no, some grains, no, of knowledge or information, anything they can grab onto to improve themselves in this in this area. Number one is know the game, no, technically, no, and the game is improving, no, almost every week, almost every month. No? So you have to keep yourself updated. Ang daming mga bagay na if you lose touch, the other coaches are going to beat you to it, and again, that's going to reflect on your game. Number two, to me, ito baka mas importante, no, is you have to be able to manage personalities. No? It's a management of people and personalities. I've known a lot of coaches who know their X and O's better than myself. Ang daming magagaling na coaches, matatalino talaga, kabisado nila talaga yung X and O's of the game. But sometimes, if you don't know how to manage people, if you don't know how to deal with some personalities, doon nagkakaroon ng problema. That creates frictions, that creates conflicts. No? Sometimes the conflicts become unresolvable. No? So to me, that's a really important knowledge, no, or skill that a coach has to have, no, which is managing personalities, managing the team. Number three is again, this is also important, is it's not just trying to build a system. No? Kasi yung system, madaling mangopya. Kahit mangopya ka lang ng system, pwede na eh. No? Ako, ginagawa ko, kinokopya ko lang yung isang coach dito, isang coach dito, isang coach. Pag sama-samahin mo, it becomes uniquely yours. No? Parang nanggaya ka lang ng maraming coaches. Ang akala nung iba, pag pinagsama-sama mo, nagiging parang sayo na eh. No? Kasi wala namang ibang makakagawa ng ganung combination kung hindi ikaw lang, because it becomes a unique thing. But what they don't know is you just copy a part of this from a great coach, another part of this from another great coach, and another part of this. It becomes uniquely yours, and then you put in your tweaks and your twists to it. Meron kang sariling touch dyan, no? Kumbaga sa nagluluto, meron kang secret sauce mo, pero basically adobo rin yung niluto mo. Nilagyan mo lang ng kung anong secret sauce mo, nagiging saya, no? So aside from that system, you have to really put in the foundation, no, which is a good culture. Kailangan the culture should be the foundation, and it should be deeper than a system. You can change system. Pag itong sistema na to, hindi ka nagpapanalo dito, palitan mo yung sistema mo, madali. No? But once you put in the culture, mas mahirap magpalit ng culture. No? The culture of the team is really important, and the culture of the team comes from the coach. So kailangan talaga ikaw ang maglagay nung culture na yon. No? It really is a reflection, no, of who you are, no, in that culture. No? Are you close? Do you run it like a family? No? Or are you genuine with each other? No? Niloloko mo lang ba yung mga players mo just to make them play good for one day, and then the next day iba na naman yung motivation mo, no? So I guess the culture of the team is really important. Siguro next is you have to be lucky. May kasamang swerte talaga ang coaching, no? Ang dami kong nakikitang magagaling na coach na I felt I'm very lucky because I've lasted this long in this league. But there are a lot of better coaches than I am because they're not as lucky as I am who are not coaching. No, and I think they are better coaches. No, but kailangan talaga magsama-sama eh. Kailangan talaga magsama-sama lahat yun. No? And that is something that we cannot control, maybe to a certain extent, no? Isang inaano ko rin, tinuturo ko rin sa mga players ko madalas is preparation is the key to success, no? When the opportunity comes and you're prepared, maybe that's the luck. Maybe yun yung luck na sinasabi natin. But when the opportunity comes and you're not prepared, yun yung malas, no? So to a certain extent, if you're ready, you control your luck. But sometimes, swertihan talaga. Sometimes you cannot control it. So siguro yun lang yung pwede kong ano. Hanggang 4 lang yata yun, hindi ako maabot ng 5.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
Teddy, Doc Teddy,
Go.
pwede doon.
Go.
Ganda na sinabi ni Coach. For as long as I've been watching Coach in the PBA, with all due respect to his teams from Red Bull to Rain or Shine, I always thought, Coach Yeng, that
Ayan,
you had
yes, si Ariel, mas magaling na coach yan sa akin eh. Kaya lang, baka maswerte lang ako talaga dyan.
Coach Yeng, yung parang you always seem to coach these underdog teams that also were a reflection of you. They were tough teams in Red Bull and even in Rain or Shine. Pero dito sa NLEX, parang iba, Coach. Is it a reflection of your changing philosophies? Parang, I don't think I'll ever characterize, with all due respect, not naman a tough, but yung physically tough, but your NLEX team is talented, you know what I mean?
Siguro ano lang, no? It comes with time. You evolve. Siguro pag medyo tumatanda ka na and you get a little bit more mellower. Pero you have to find ways to win pa rin. At the end of the day, you still need to win. The standard by which you are judged is still winning. No, you cannot just keep on coaching and you're not producing a winning record, a championship, or just creating a team that can contend. No, hindi ka magtatagal. So, to me, and isang ano pa rin, no, sinasabi ko I'm lucky because it takes time to build a championship team. And the times I've had, no, with our previous owners, owner namin sa Swift, yung owner namin sa Red Bull, sa Rain or Shine, ngayon sa NLEX, they've been patient, no. They've been able to look at the good side. Of course, may bad side, may good side, no? But if you understand the game, you know that you cannot build a championship team in 1 or 2 years. Sometimes it happens, but that's going to be the exception to the rule. You can build a team maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years. Ganon katagal eh. No, yung paggawa ng team. Lalo na sa hirap ng recruitment sa PBA. Pagka wala tayo dito yung kamukha sa NBA, yung unrestricted free agent. So yung player pagka ayaw na niya diyan, pwede siya lumipat after a few years na siya lang magde-decide, no? Sa atin kasi talagang yung team pag nahawakan ka, hawak na hawak ka na ng team, no? There is no such thing as unrestricted free agent after that. So what you can get are the players that the teams voluntarily release. And bakit mo i-release voluntarily ang player kung magaling? So ang pagkukuhanan mo lang talaga ng ano is yung draft, no? Yung draft. At pag nakuha mo sa draft, there are very few players who will make an impact on their first year. Siguro yung rookie of the year yun, no? Yung first or second. But under that, you have to still develop those players 2 to 3 years before they can make an impact in the team. So ang tagal mong gagawin talaga, ang tagal mo talagang build up in yung team mo. Now there are yung mga tinatawag na mga big time trades, no? Or yung mga trade na big players to big players. But you can only do that if you also have the players na katapat ng ibang players, no? So although siyempre minsan nangyayari na nakikita natin, uy, baka hindi balanse yung ano yan. But problema ng PBA yon, no? Sila magbabalanse doon, yung PBA ang magbabalanse noon. So, with the rules, it's really very difficult, no, for teams to develop strong teams. Although, pagka malakas na yung team mo, ang hirap mo namang gibain. No? Kasi hindi na makakaalis yung player sa'yo kahit ano pang gawin ng ibang teams. Kaya, nagtatagal yung mga dynasties.
Thank you, Coach.
We have a question from Ruben Terrado. Ruben, wait lang.
Si Ruben pala yan.
Teka lang ha. Ruben, you're live. Ruben.
Hi, Coach.
Kala ko kung sino nagtanong, ikaw pala.
Hindi, Coach, ano lang. Regarding lang doon sa coaching style mo, you've touched about it kanina eh. Kasi people see you na nagmumura, gano'n, stricto. Ayun, namura mo na one time si Jervy Cruz and sila Igalop. Pero Coach, you're still well loved by your players eh. What do you think is, what do you think, bakit successful yung style mo na yun? And yung bang style mo, Coach, would you encourage young coaches na parang ganon din ang style mo? Or kunwari lang, mayroong gustong coach na ganon ang style, what's your advice to them?
Naku, hindi. No? Kasi, ano yan eh. Siguro kaya mong gawin yan if you have a deep trust in each other. And sinabi ko kanina, no, on day one, when players come to our team, they already understand that. Ngayon, kung hindi kayo nagkakaintindihan at hindi nila alam what to expect, I don't think that can work for for other coaches. No, I think kailangan talaga yun, may mga conditions muna bago maging effective. No? The players have to understand that they can be subjected to that and they have to accept that. And number two, they also have to trust that it's happening because I have their interest, yung interest nila at hand. No? So, alam naman nila yon. It's not to disrespect them. It's not to put them down. It's to make them angry, get mad, and try to prove me wrong. No? So alam na nila yon. Nagkakaintindihan na kami nun. Ngayon, if some other coach is going to use that and hindi naintindihan ng player mo yon, naku, baka kayo mag-away. No, kailangan na intindihan ng player mo where you're coming from. And from day one, that needs kailangan nun inaalagaan mo yung ganung klaseng relationship. No? Naintindihan na nila yon, no? At accepted na nila yon. At pagkatapos nun, naglulukohan na sila sa practice. No? Alam na nila na the next day, hindi mo nadala yung galit mo. No? So, ganun talaga yun.
Pero Coach, how were you able to develop that kind of style? Kailan ba yung nagsimula? Nung Swift days pa or even before that? How were you able to develop that kind of coaching style of yours?
Ever since, ganun naman eh. Actually, nakita nyo ako from yung mga nakakatanda sa inyo na pinanood nyo ako. Ganun na ako from the beginning. Siguro, ano rin, no? Isa rin yun doon sa sinasabi ko na being lucky. No? Kasi 99% I have had players who were able to accept that from me. So meron kasing mga players na talagang hindi tatanggap ng ganun. At kailangan magkaintindihan na kayo. Huwag na kayo magsama from the beginning. No? But kung alam niya na you're doing that out of your concern for him, out of your love for him, out of your intention to make him better, tatanggapin nila yon. Tatanggapin nila.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much, Ruben, for your questions. There's more questions, Doc Teddy, from our attendees.
That's okay. Coach Yang, this is a question from Erickson. Erickson asked, other countries have their own kind of basketball style or culture? What is the quote-unquote Filipino style kind of game that we should develop or invest into? Thank you.
I don't know if he's saying to be successful internationally or just to be successful in our own league, which is the PBA. No, siguro ang ibig niya sabihin is how we can
Naluto na
compete
ba?
better internationally.
Ito na.
Sorry.
So
Sorry.
ang ano ko doon is number one, no? Admittedly, maybe for the next 10 to 20 years, we are still going to be smaller, no, than the basketball powers in the world. No? Kita natin kung gaano tayo kaliit sa mga Europeans, sa mga African teams, even sa mga Chinese team, even yung mga Korean teams. Ang tatangkad na rin ng mga Korean teams, even mga Japanese teams, no? Tumatangkad na rin. Tayo tumatangkad din, pero nasasabayan na tayo minsan mas tumatangkad pa yung mga ibang bata, no, ng mga ano. So we understand that at the international level, no, we will not outgrow our opponents, no? So to me, number one is we really have to be good with the outside shooting, with the 3-point shot. We really have to exactly the Korean philosophy, no? Yung ginagawa ng mga Koreano 20 years ago pa, ito na yung style nila, no? Na dinevelop talaga nila yung outside shooting nila, no? Siguro number two is we have to be able to use our speed and quickness, no, to pressure from the backcourt. Ito sa depensa naman, no, na a small team will usually have to rely on their quickness, on their hustle, no, on their aggressiveness, hard work, and you have to do it from baseline to baseline if you're going to succeed internationally, no? Ang nangyayari kasi dito, what happens is sometimes we have our scorers, we have 2 or 3 scorers in the team, and we try to preserve them and they don't do the full court. You must have 5 people doing a press. Even your big man, no, should be able to run a press and sustain it for 40 minutes if you're playing the international game. Kasi ilang laro lang naman yan, no? Hindi ka mukha sa PBA na marami kayo, buong taong kayong naglalaro. So is maintaining that high intensity, aggressive defense for 48 minutes. So that will also come in with your with your ability, no, to be in that good a shape to be able to sustain that. Also, if you have a deep bench, no, where you can play 6-7 minutes of full court press and then do another 6-7 minutes with your second group, again, that's going to work, no? But it has to be relentless talaga when you're playing international, because that's also what the other team is doing to you, no? So it's really high intensity game on both ends, and you must be able to sustain that. You must be in the best shape to do that. And again, internationally, you have to have skilled big men. Ang mga big men ngayon internationally, grabe, no? They're 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers, and they're very quick and they can shoot the outside shot. And if our big men cannot do that, doon pa lang talo na tayo. Doon pa lang iwan na tayo. And there's this thing also internationally that defensively, teams are switching everything. and there are no really big mismatches. So yung point guard nila, kahit i-switch nila yung big man ng kabila, they can hold on to that, no, and be able to get some help after 2 or 3 dribbles, 2 or 3 seconds, no. But their point guards are going to be able to contain, hindi yung pagka nagka-mismatch, blow by na kaagad, no, or dunk na kaagad. A lot of national teams, international teams, because they have a lot of players to choose from and they have the size, they have the quickness, they just switch everything. And that's the simplest solution to defense. And if you cannot, kunyari tayo, sinwitch nila tayo, and we cannot take advantage of the mismatches, that's again going to be a losing game. No? So you have to have your big man be able to be skilled, shoot that outside shot, are smart, are able to take advantage of the mismatches, because if not, they'll just switch. No? Internationally, they're just switching everything. And if you don't have any player who can break down the mismatch, patay ka na, wala ka na ibang magagawa eh. Pagka ganun eh. So I think these are the things we have to consider.
Coach, we have a couple of more questions. We have a question from Ray Jobel of Signal.
Hoble.
Apologies. Ray Hoble of Signal. And he asks, Coach, what does it take for us to develop consistent outside shooters in the mold of an Alan Kaidik? We haven't developed somebody close to his caliber for a number of years. Is it the... Yeah, that's the question, Coach.
Mahirap mag-develop. It's really difficult to expect somebody again in the mode of Alan, because Alan is just really gifted. He's talented. And then, aside from being gifted, he's also a hard worker. No? So, iba yung magaling ka na, may talent ka na, no? Tapos masipag ka pa. That's what you get. No? You have the incredible abilities of an Alan Kaidik. But, kasi si Alan, it's nice to have somebody like him, no? Shooting maybe 40%, 45% three-point shots, no, in a game. But, it's also good if you can have 5 players who can shoot 35, 38% from 3 points. Not as good as Alan, kahit hindi kasing galing niya, pero at least pag nalibre, alam mo na, uy, may sure ball to pag libre, lalo sa labas. And if you can have 5 players doing that, that's going to be a really good advantage. And to me, it's a function of practice. Kung I ask my players every day, eto, tanungin mo kahit sinong player ko, I ask them to shoot at least 300, 500. They have the time to shoot 1,000 shots. They take 1,000 shots. The only thing that's limiting us from taking that many shots is the time element and the number of goals. Kasi yung goal mo, 2 lang yon, magkabila. Tapos doon sa gym namin, meron kaming 2 doon sa gilid. For somebody to take 300 shots, it will take him around 20 to 25 minutes. So can you imagine if you have 15 players just taking 300 shots and everybody takes 25 minutes, just 300 shots. Mabilis na yun, yung pace nun, mabilis na. And what more if my demand is for them is to take 500 shots, and that will take around 40 minutes. To take 1,000 shots, it will take 1 hour and 10 minutes to take 1,000 shots. So can you imagine how many man hours you have to do for the players if you only have 4 goals? And isa pang limitation dyan, kailangan may pumapasa sa kanila. Kailangan may ball boy. Kailangan marunong pumasa. That's why, kailangan na ngayon meron kang shooting machine. Because the machine is consistent. Yung ball boy mo, pag nagpasa yan ng mga 20 beses, iba na yung pasa niya, mahina na. And you have to get the ball into the hands of the players. Ball speed, game speed. And then, tsaka nila ititira. So, even the type of practice, the quality of practice is important. then maybe you can produce an Alan Kaydik. That's not even sure. That's no guarantee. But maybe you can shoot 35, 36, 37%. To me, that's already okay, no, from 3-point area. But you have to put in the hours to do that. And I ask my players to do at least a minimum of 300. Even the big men. That's why pati si Asi nga naging 3-point shooter. No? Nasarapan na nga si Asi sa 3-point shot. Ayaw na nga pumoste. No? So sabi namin, pumoste ka naman paminsan-minsan. Mag-roll ka naman kaysa dun sa pop ka lang ng pop sa pick and roll.
Coach, napag-usapan na rin natin yung mga PBA players. Sa mga na-coach mo daw, may question from our YouTube. Sa mga na-coach mo daw, sino yung top 5 mo? Of
Sa
all
mga
time. Sa mga na-coach mo in the PBA.
Ang hirap kasi I'll be unfair to a lot of my good players, no, pero alam naman nila, magpasensya na lang sila, no. Sila number 1 siguro without without
Okay,
yung hindi naman ito according to how great they are, how good they are. No? Siguro si Verhel, no, he's very talented. Si Nelson, well, I already said si Willie. These are the Willie Miller. Ngayon si Kiefer. And then si Paul. Si Paul. Top of hand, marami pang ibang pwede akong banggitin pero sabi mo
5 lang.
5 lang eh, no? So
Ako yung coach,
yung andyan sina Kirby, andyan sina Rico Villanueva, andyan yung sina Junti, sina Jimwell, no? So marami, no? Marami sila Cyrus. So but yun nga. Pinahirapan mo ako, sabi mo 5 lang eh.
Tapos ating questions. Coach, how was it coaching Jordan Clarkson when he was in the Asian Games from Leo? How was it?
That was really one of the highlights of my career. Sabi ko nga, I will not exchange that experience for anything. Jordan Clarkson is a coach's dream actually. Nung una, medyo kinakapa ko siya, tinatansya ko, baka sabihin niya, Jordan Clarkson ako, yung giyaw ka lang eh. No? Baka mas marami pa akong alam sa'yo. No? Pero he was never like that. He was a true professional. He did exactly what you asked him to do. He ran the place. He worked hard. He came to practice. He was never late. Kasama niya yung family niya, yung tatay niya became my friend, no? So yung trainer niya was also a fixture, no, in our team. So we were a close bunch, no? And he was very close to his teammates. No, napakalapit niya, mahal niya yung team, mahal niya ang Pilipinas. Mahal niya yung mga nakasama niya. No? At nandun kami sa Indonesia. If they are able to escape, no, from the yung may kami doon may athletes village kami doon no? Isasama sila ni Jordan Clarkson, magpapakain yan sa labas, sagot niya lahat. No? And kahit na minsan gabi, siguro hindi siya makatulog, gigisingin niya yung mga kasama niya. Sabi niya, kain tayo, lalabas yan. No? So, the team loved him and he loved the team and he loves the Philippines. And I'm sure, no, pag pinatawag natin siya, at ito lang yung condition, kailangan payagan siya ng NBA team niya. No? Maglalaro yan sa Pilipinas. At kailangan payagan siya nung tournament. Kasi kung minsan, sa Asian Games, pwede siya as local. Pero sa FIBA, baka hindi siya i-consider as local, baka i-consider siya as naturalized.
Some more questions. what was your memorable experience sa World Cup? Anong memorable sa iyo? From Ian.
To me, just being there, you just soak up the atmosphere. Napakaganda ng venues, the guys, the coaches that you only see on TV, that you only see play at the highest level, nandun katabi mo, nakakalaban mo, nakakasama mong kumain, no? Nakakasama mo sa elevator. No? They're just as human as anybody. Ano rin sila, nagpapatawa sila, kung ano-ano rin mga kalokohan nila, no? So ano lang doon, walang may ere, no? Everybody was just a basketball player enjoying the game, enjoying the sport, and competing as hard as they can. So that's really just the best experience. Kung sasabihin mo isang experience lang, hindi. You have to take in the whole experience as in itself. Just to be able to be around the best players in the world. Ibang klase at kokonti ang nabibigyan ng ganung pagkakataon.
Coach, from Arman, sino daw yung top teams na nakalaban mo in 90s, 2000, and 2010? So, from that era.
90s, naku, Hinebra na yan eh. From the beginning, si Coach Jawo
Ginebra.
pa yan. Inabutan ko pa yan eh. Si Coach Jawo eh.
So, 90s, Ginebra.
90s, Hinebra.
2000.
2000, San Miguel yan. No?
San Miguel.
San Miguel yan. No? Yung 2010s na yung the decade na yan. Alaska na yan. Grabe na yan yung mga si Coach Tim ko na yung na yan, yung kalakasan na ng Alaska yan. No? And then later on, of course, pumasok na yung dati pa, no? Yung San Miguel, naging San Miguel ulit, naging Talk and Text. No? So, those are the teams that really dominated. No? Kami noon, kung Swift kami, kung Red Bull kami, Rain or Shine kami, sundot-sundot lang kami noon. No? Parang tsumachamba lang kami noon, nakakadisgrasya lang kami. No? So, yun lang ang papel namin. Pero ang Corona noon talagang hawak na ng mga matitigas na team na yun.
Who was the hardest player you handled? And how were you able to encourage him to follow your system? From Marshall Defensor.
Swerte nga ako eh. Sabi ko, no, 99%. Actually, alam mo, yung mga mahirap talaga na na minsan nagkakaroon ng problema are the imports. No? One, because sometimes they come in with a chip on their shoulder. No? Parang isip nila, import ako, dominado ko to. No? The whole team is riding on my shoulder, so pwede akong magprima donna. There are some imports who have that mentality. Pero kokonti. No? Kokonti. A lot of imports are really just professionals. So, sa locals wala eh. No? Siguro masabi ko lang si Jimwell. No? But si Jimwell Torion, it's not because masama siya or napakagaling na player nun. No? But maybe there were some influences. No? May mga, alam naman natin nangyayari yan. No? There were some influences outside of basketball that have a bearing, no, on their decision making. But he was never disrespectful. No? Hindi siya lumaban, hindi siya Kaya lang, of course, there were some things na siguro would rather not have done or decisions that were made. But otherwise, wala eh. Okay pa rin naman eh. Wala, hindi ako nahirapan. Kasama sa swerte ko yan. May hirap in general because of the pressure, because of the demands. No? But so far, I've been lucky.
Coach, we have 2 more questions. One more. It's a question from Shine and from Ghana. And Shine asks, Coach, what strategy will you use against a physically strong team? Thank you.
You know, if you're playing a physically strong team, usually their best advantage would be deliberate half-court set. So lalo na kung malalaki sila, no, then they're physically strong. So the faster the pace, no, the quicker the game is, the better you run your transition game, you're able to avoid the physicality. No? So I guess most coaches are going to do that if they know a team is physically stronger, and if you have the speed, and but the problem there is a team is physically stronger and they also have the speed, then you have nowhere to go, no? Ang ano mo doon is you just hope you make your outside shots, no? And kami, we have a lot of plays. We set up our game plan. We set up our offense to be able to get our shooters open, no? And if we're making our shots, we will usually ganun naman talaga, we will usually win our game. If we're not making our outside shots, it's very difficult to win games because, again, you have to deal with a strong physical team, and that means you have to penetrate the lane. That means you have to go to your low post, go to your big men, and if their big men are stronger, your big men will have to step out, and your big men will have still to make their outside shots. That's why kasama na rin sa routine namin yan. Our big men will have to have the skill to make that outside shot, especially if it's an open shot.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Before we go, we let you go, Coach. Again, we'd like to thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge and just for answering all the questions. We have this auction for the frontliners, so hihingi sana kami sa iyo ng coaching board na sign mo. Na
Okay na, sinabi mo na sa akin yan eh, hinanda ako na. So yung delivery na lang, paano natin
Hindi, papakuha ko dyan, Coach. Pero yun.
Usap tayo.
Okay, thank you. And so, stay, yung mga attendees, stay after the program with Coach Yeng. We will auction off the signed shoes by Kiefer Ravena, yung player niya. So, standby kayo dyan. And again, Coach, would like to thank you. Rick, take over.
Yeah, sa mga participants, we hope that you enjoyed this Hoops Coaches International webinar with Coach Yeng Guiao. It has been one of the most insightful ones we've had so far. We hope that you picked up a lot. And kung may karagdagan kayong tanong, pwede kayo mag-request kay Coach Ariel to feature Coach Yeng once more. Sa mga attendees, sa mga nagtanong, maraming salamat. Sa panelists natin, Doc Teddy, obviously Coach Ariel. Coach Yeng, maraming salamat. Stay safe and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ano pala, gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa ating mga frontliners. Lahat ng mga nagtsatsaga, lahat ng mga binibigay yung oras nila at nagpapakahirap para tayo maging safe. To all our frontliners, salamat sa inyo.
So, thank you. Thank you rin, Coach Yeng. At again, attendees, stay para doon sa ating online auction. Again, yung first day, we were able to raise almost 20,000. The second day, 10,000. And ngayon ulit yung ating online tour. Coach, thank you so much. O baka gusto mo mag-bid, pwede rin, ha?
Sige, for yun eh. Bibigay ko lang. Sabihin ko na lang sa kanya, magpa-auction pa siya ng isang sapatos.
Yun.
Ayan o, ayan. Ayan yung signed Keeper Ravena shoes. Ayan yung ating auction, ha? So yun. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Pasali ka pa rin. Mamaya.
Alright, bye-bye.
Thank you. So ito, start na natin to auction. Size 13, ha? Size 13.
Oy!
Teka lang, ha? Ano lang natin to. Gallery review lang natin. Ayun, size 13. Okay. Size 13 signed by Kiefer Ravena. Slightly used. It's a Giannis shoes. So, Coach Ted, Doc Teddy already bid 2,000. So, kung merong gusto, thanks Coach Yeng again. Kung merong gusto dyan, 2,000 with 5 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Sorry. 3 minutes. 3 minutes shot clock. Mukhang kay Doc Teddy mapupunta.
Ang dami
Pero,
ng participants na yan, Coach.
marami. At saka marami sa YouTube. Marami sa YouTube, ha? Marami sa YouTube.
Baka
So,
ma-outbid ako.
ma-outbid ka. Tinaasan mo agad, eh. Maganda yung strategy mo ngayon, ha? Hindi ka na hindi ka na nakapag, again,
Sorry.
the proceeds will go to, yan. Kaya kita. Oh,
Ay,
hindi
nagkita ko,
umaandar. Nakita ko na yung ano mo. Hindi ko na-under yung bid. Yan.
Maraming sniper dyan eh. For sure.
Wala. And we give, another 10 seconds after. Kasi gawa lang may 10 seconds lag yung ating YouTube. So we have 29. 2,100 from Mark Arjen Jimenez from our YouTube. So 2,100 ang ating from Mark Arjen Jimenez. Again, if you win the bid, just message Coach AV email Coach AV at hoopcoaches.com. Okay, so 2,100 ang highest bid natin from Mark Arjen Jimenez from our YouTube.
Yan.
We have 1 minute and 47 seconds. Ayan na, wala kadaya-daya yan. Nawala.
Coaches, size 13. Coach, may box ba yan?
Walang box.
No box.
I can provide a replacement box.
There you go. Guys, may box na yan.
Ayan. 2,100. Wala yata si Emerito, Ang ating top na 2,300 from 2,200 from Vic Domingo pero outbidded by Mark Arjen Jimenez. 2,300. 2,400 from Vic Domingo.
Emerito, your bid.
Sorry, Emerito. 2,200. Sorry. 2,400 from Vic Domingo.
50 seconds. 50 seconds.
Anong shoes daw po? It's a Yanis shoes.
2,800 from Kobe.
2,800 from Kobe Balderas. 2,800.
Woo!
2,800 na.
Good price yan.
China number 1. Wala,
Wala yung timer.
Hindi China. Original. 22 seconds. 3,000 from Nadav. Nadab na. Sino sa Nadab na? I need to Warner Bros. Sorry, you
4, 3, 2, 1,
Teka
0.
lang. We have to confirm din kasi dito sa ano natin kasi merong mga nagdo-joy bid eh. Oo, may nagbibid ng 69. So sorry, we have to kick you out yung mga ganun na. So the highest is 2,800.
2,800 kay Kobe.
Rotem, we're helping charity here. I don't think it's a good way for you to be doing that. Also to Nadab and Bros, Lugi. So I think if that's your way of helping, so that's not nice. Okay? So 2,800. Kobe, 10 seconds.
If they post again, just ignore na lang from them.
Kaya I'll ignore na lang.
They're not serious.
Kaya nga. They're not serious ito, mga ibang sa YouTube natin. I'm so very sorry. That's your way of helping. But again, Kobe Balderas. So I think by default, yung some of the YouTube, we have to give it to Kobe Balderas. Kobe Balderas, you're the winner. Please email coachab at hoopcoaches.com. Congratulations to Kobe Balderas.
Congratulations, Kobe.
Two
Sobrang
times-
good price na yan.
Very good price.
May
Okay?
sign, may pirma pa yan.
Alright. May mga Ateneo fans ba? Ateneo fans? Meron gusto?
Baka, coach, board naman dyan kung wala.
Board. Wala pa yung mga boards natin eh. Merong old board. Kaya lang sa akin to, old board. Kaya lang baka hindi na nila gusto to. It's a war ano. Kung gusto
Is
nila.
that during your championship season in the
Oh.
APL?
Sa one of them. One season. Pero medyo beaten out. If somebody wants it, sige. For 200, I'll be happy to give it out kung meron. But
O sige, coach.
sa'yo na to, 200.
Put it up.
Yeah, no?
Okay.
Okay? Sorry, Vic, I wasn't able to Meron pa naman susunod, Vic, from YouTube. Sorry, hindi na timing na 2:08 yung magbibid sana si Vic ng 3:1, sorry. So, meron pa naman susunod. Meron pa susunod.
What's next?
Okay? Wait up. There's yung Jordan na blue.
Woo! Ano size?
But it's 10.5. 10.5. Okay? Teka lang ha.
You know what I realized? The coaches have big feet. Wow! Ganda.
Yeah. From coach, one of our assistant coaches. It's one of our assistant coaches, size 10.5.
Slightly used?
Slightly used.
Still nice.
With the replacement box.
Jordan 1.
Jordan 1, blue. Ang tawag dito?
Mukhang maganda yung
Royal blue.
leather royal blue with
10.5. Adrian. 10.5 to.
If there's allowance pa the Jordan 1s
Diba sinuot niya yung ganito sa kanyang last game sa New York,
Yes.
diba? Pero yung yung original.
white version.
So this is our last item for tonight. So if you want to help our frontliners, bid na kayo. Later, after the Metro Stars reunion, meron pa tayo. Vic, meron pa tayo. If you want to bid again, meron pa yung kay yung kay meron pang kay Third Year Rabena naman. So standby ka dun mamaya. Vic, sa Metro Stars reunion, standby ka rin sa YouTube. We can bid on that. So yun, babawi daw siya sa coaching board ni Coach Yeng. Sige, papapicture ako muna kay Coach Yeng. Baka bukas meron tayong session with kung alam niyo yung nagba-basketball breakdown, meron tayong session with him tomorrow. 10 p.m. nga lang ng gabi. Si Coach Nick. Yung it's not a website, it's a conversation or something. Parang ganun.
Coach Nick, ang last name ni Coach?
Hustleman.
Hustleman.
Yung mga nagbe-breakdown ng mga NBA,
Opening
So ito, opening bid is 800.
Oh guys, 800.
Swerte yung pamangkin ko pagka hindi na bid to. Dahil ako na magbibid ng 800. 800.
Adrian.
Ayan.
1.5. Oh yan, 2K, Kobe.
Hindi ko pa na-enter yung 800 ko.
Ayan, 200.
Kobe.
2K.
Kobe Balderas. 2K. Okay, you're the highest so far. Yan
No,
natin
if he
yung...
wins this, he gives Coach Emerito a run for his money.
Okay, Rotem, Korean yata to si Rotem. Rotem, sorry, English only. 2-5 from
John.
John Arfeni Laguera. Okay? So, 2-6 from Michael Bautista. Okay, 2-6, Michael. Michael, last 2 minutes. Oh, sige, last 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Final 2 minutes.
Ang linis pa, oh. Ang linis ng soul.
Oo. At saka isang beses lang daw never pa pinanlaro.
Wow.
Last 2 minutes, ha. So again, this is going to our dear frontliners.
Hi, oh yeah, good.
They don't need to see me, so yeah.
They just need to see the timer and the shoot.
Yeah. How do I make this na it won't hindi kasi ako iPhone user eh. It won't black out.
Yung auto lock. You have to remove the auto lock, I think. Susunod na auction na lang.
Sunod na lang. Pa-practicing ko. 1 minute. 2-6 is our highest. It's a steal for 2-6. Sabi nung pamangkin ko, i-resell nga daw niya ng 5 eh.
Yes, that's the going. That's the going rate for that.
I-resell daw niya ng 5. So again, it's an Air Jordan 1 Royal Blue. Second hand cost around 4,900 daw from Australia. Sabi ng aking brother from Australia who's tuned in from sa YouTube. Hi. 10.5, yes. Cyrex 10.5. Again, after the shot clock, meron 10 seconds pa for our YouTube. 2-7 from Vic Domingo. Nadab, we cannot confirm your bid kasi walang picture yung mo eh. You don't have any picture. Sorry. So Vic Domingo is the highest, 2,700.
Woo!
2,700.
10 seconds.
We cannot confirm the other bid kasi walang picture. 2,800, Michael Bautista.
Mike wants it.
2,800, Mike. So, Vic.
3, 2, 1.
10 seconds, Vic. You got 10 seconds to outbid 2-8.
9, 8,
8, 7, 6, 5. So, Vic, 2,800 kung hindi mo...
2,
Teka,
1.
okay. 10 seconds pa. 10, 9, 8. Ngayon na lumabas kasi sa inyo. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's sold. So, to Michael Bautista, congratulations. Sorry, John. Too late na ko na. Sayang. Sorry, John.
Coach, they're asking for the link for the Metro Stars reunion.
It's on our website.
Ayan.
Pero I can post. It's on Hoop Coaches So Mike paki-email email mo na lang ako.
Congratulations, Michael Bautista.
Coach AV at Hoop Coaches. .com. Paki-email mo ako para alam natin yung contact info mo and then kung paano papadala. Again, we've agreed that since it's a fundraising, shipping, if provincial, 300. If Lalo Move or Metro Manila, we will be 150 yung peg rate. Anything above or under, ako na magdadagdag or magbabawas. But usually, it's dagdag.
The certificate. Tell them about the certificate.
The certificates, you have to attend at least 10. If you've attended at least 10, may certificate ka. I can monitor on Zoom and I can monitor who participates in our YouTube conversations. So, nagka-attendance naman yung iba. And I think yung talagang seryoso lang naman na mag-attend yung talagang ano natin. Kagaya ni Coach Jalma Arnedo of Baguio. Andiyan siya lagi, nakikita ko. So maraming mga coaches.
Coach.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll see you again. Mamaya maganda. Error and registration for basketball webinar. Sige, I'll check yun sa basketball breakdown webinar. Papacheck ko pero I tried it out. Okay naman. Pero sige, merong nag-message na error daw. I'll repost again. Or baka mali ang repost ni Bong Paredes. Paging Bong Paredes, mali yata na repost mo. So, okay, and again, thank you so much. I'll see you again at 8 for that Metro Stars reunion. What made them won that championship 21 years ago? How was their journey? We'll have Coach Louis Alas, who's the coach of Phoenix now. We'll have Alex Compton, Romel Aducol, Coach Boise Samar, Coach Pedro Martin, and yours truly will be there. So I'll send the invites out on Facebook page also. Para for those who haven't registered yet, I will put it on there right after I log off here. So again, Doc Teddy, see you at the reunion. Mag-a-attend ka, sabi mo, from the background. From the background. So again, it will be fun. I'm gonna be reliving memories that's close to my heart. Started my professional basketball career with the Metro Stars, and of course, if you win a championship, that's always memorable. Again, good evening, everyone, and stay safe. God bless, and I'll see you again at 8 p.m. Thank you, coaches. Bye.